Okay. I believe I am live. Just double check with, let me just double check online, just, on my phone, just to make sure. Very sure I am. It says I am, but, sometimes the internet lies. Okay, no, it says I'm live. I just got a notification telling myself that I'm live, so I guess I'm live. Oh, look, and there I am. Nice. Okay, cool. Okay. Ahsoka episode 6. So I just watched it. I just got done watching it at 10. But it took me an hour to get all my thoughts in order, get set up, and think about what I want to say. Anyway, hi, I dropped something. Hi, everyone. I'm JimClassic, and you are watching Geekin It. No game in it tonight. And alright, so as usual, this is my fifth. Actually, this is my fifth. This is my fifth Ahsoka review because episodes 1 and 2 were one video. So this is my fifth one. Still kind of new at this. Still trying to work out the bugs here. But either way, I actually took some notes while I was watching the episode instead of waiting to the very end of the episode where I'm forgetting half the thing. So I'm still forgetting stuff, but I have a few things here that kind of hopefully will jog my memory a little bit. Anyway, so yeah, I just watched the Ahsoka series. This is mostly going to be unscripted, aside from a few notes I scribbled down. I just want to talk about my thoughts. There's going to be some spoilers, likely. Right now, I'm live on Twitch, so if anyone does happen to pop in and they want to comment and give me their thoughts and have a conversation, I'm all for it. And if no one is chatting with me, I'm probably just going to ramble on with my notes. And this will end up on my YouTube channel. So if anyone has any thoughts while they're watching this on my YouTube channel, please leave a comment. Otherwise, I'm just going to ramble on with my notes. And I think I have a lot to talk about. Usually my videos are about a half an hour. I'm hoping I can do this in a half an hour. I should. I hope. Anyway, is the music still going? Yeah, it's still going. Okay. Yeah, it's a little background ambient. Okay. So yeah, Ahsoka episode 6, titled Far, Far Away. And, where we last left off our heroes, Sabine was captured by Baylan Skoll and Morgan, or surrendered, I guess, another way of putting it, because, her desire to find Ezra pretty much prioritized everything else in the galaxy. Which, that's fine. Hey, Luke Skywalker made a very similar terrible mistake. He prioritized his friends over his Jedi training. So, it's always stupid, but it always, it's you expect that sort of thing from our heroes. But yeah, so she prioritized, Ezra over everything else, was taken prisoner by Baylan Skoll, zoomed off into another galaxy, and Ahsoka the White joined her after her final training with Anakin, and they're in the Purgle, also zooming off into another galaxy. Speaking of Ahsoka, Ahsoka definitely seemed to be in a better mood and brighter spirits, which is what I was kind of hoping to see, and I'm starting to see a little bit of that now, which, I'm okay with that. This is kind of her rebirth after getting closure from interacting with Anakin's ghost or essence or whatever that was within the veil of the Force. And she is sitting in the cockpit of her ship inside the belly of a Purgle, and her only company is Huyang. I can never say his name. Huyang. The Jedi training droid. Is he next? Is the Jedi training droid next? No, it's inside. Oh yeah, inside the belly of the Purgles. I mean, that's obviously not that picture. That's from the last episode, but you know what I mean. And she's sitting with Huyang is riding shotgun, and they're kind of talking about the Jedi Order and I guess the good old days. And Huyang makes a comment of, I'm sitting inside going to another galaxy within the belly of a space whale. Now I really have done it all. And Huyang is 500 years old, Jedi training droid. I'm sure he has seen quite a lot. And, that I kind of dug that. Ahsoka, again, reminiscing about the old order and how when she was a child, he was always telling stories and, the stories and the myths of the galaxy, stories 1, 2, and 3. 1 being the best, of course. And I have a hunch. That's, since Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau work on the show, I have a hunch that is just a not so subtle nod that they love the original Star Wars the best. Or maybe Episode 1. This could be an Episode 1 thing. I guess Dave Filoni worked on Episode 1, I think. That's possible. So Episode 1 might be his favorite. Or this is a reference to the original Star Wars from 1977 as the favorite. I personally, A New Hope is my personal favorite. But, it seemed like a not-so-subtle nod to one or the other. I dug that. And eventually Ahsoka is like, oh, you know what? I happen to be in the mood for one of your stories. Please, you can tell me. And any of them, she says. And Huyang says, well, it all started a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Cue credits, Ahsoka theme, intro over, I think. But, I don't know. I both chuckled and groaned at the same time because I'm like, okay, I liked that. That was kind of a fun nod. At the same time, it was a little bit fourth wall breaking, and I don't think Star Wars has really broken the fourth wall before. But I got a chuckle out of it. I don't know. I don't know if this is the first time that's ever been referenced before. I haven't read all the comics, Dark Horse or Marvel. I haven't read all the books, so I really have no idea if in any of the previous media they've ever said a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. As far as I'm concerned, that is my first time ever hearing that in Star Wars. And all right. I kind of enjoyed it a little bit. Okay, I enjoyed it more than I groaned, but I still groaned a bit. Anyway, so we have Peridea. Peridea is the planet that the hyperspace. Oh yes, I'm sorry. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Oh my God, I had that there and I ruined the moment. This is what I get for not being scripted. Anyway, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Moving on. Hyperspace ring. Peridea. It arrives. Now I have to say, actually, now that I'm talking about the hyperspace ring, I found that the hyperspace tunnel that both the Purgles and the ring went through is definitely a different type of hyperspace tunnel than we normally see in Star Wars. But maybe it's because they're traveling galaxies instead of star systems. Maybe that's why the hyperspace tunnel. I should have gotten a picture of it, but I didn't think about it. But the hyperspace tunnel was definitely of a different type. It looked different. I liked it. Maybe it's because they're going faster than hyperspace. I don't know. But it shows up, and you see Peridea. It's this ringed planet, and I think either Baylan or Morgan makes comments that this is where the Purgles go to die. And it's a Purgle graveyard, and then you realize the rings aren't rocks or ice. They are the decayed remains of Purgles. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. I dug it. That's, Star Wars is all about going to new planets and going to a planet full of dead space whales. Okay, that's a new one. And so apparently Peridea is the home of the Dathomirians or the Night Sisters. I'm a little bit fuzzy. I might have to watch the episode again. It's either the origin planet of the Night Sisters, or maybe the Night Sisters colonized it by by traveling from the Star Wars galaxy to the other galaxy. I'm not sure. I mean, it's just it's interesting. It's interesting to think that Dathomirians or the Night Sisters might have originated from a completely different galaxy. I mean, I think they've said it once or twice, but some of the stuff is kind of leaving my memory at this point. But I mean, I was kind of surprised that they know of the Jedi because Sabine is in the jail cell and they walk her out in the cuffs and they censor and it stinks of Jedi. She kind of not really. Maybe they just maybe they just sense Ahsoka on her or something somehow. But we get to see some Night Sisters, these grandmothers, and they all have a vague resemblance to Mother Talzin from Clone Wars. So I mean, it's kind of cool to see a new brand of a new type of Force user other than Sith or Jedi. And so yeah, I did kind of like the grandmothers. They just they parked the ship, they parked their shuttle or whatever on this landing platform on this very grayscale planet, blue and grayscale. I don't know. Peridea is not a colorful environment. Well, let's see. Moving on to Baylan. We learned a little bit more about Baylan Skoll in this episode, so that's cool. He's always, so far, his character's been a bit mysterious, he's chatty. He's chatty, but also we learn little bits about him in each episode. But now we're learning a lot more in this one, and so definitely see some character development. Where Morgan wants to get Thrawn back to the Star Wars galaxy as quickly as possible, I'm under the impression Baylan Skoll and his apprentice Shin are planning on hanging out in this new galaxy. He's apparently got some plans. He's looking towards a better future. He's talking about how the Sith and the Jedi, it's an endless cycle, how they always take control away from the other. And he's looking to end that cycle somehow. Now and I should have gotten a picture of this. I totally forgot. My thought, and again, I am not a huge fan of this idea, but it is my thought. I'm wondering if Baylan Skoll is trying to form a new order, such as, let's say, the Knights of Ren from the sequel trilogy. And that's my thought, is maybe he's just trying to create a new order that will become the Knights of Ren. I could be wrong, but he says a power or something is calling to him in this galaxy. So that is, we still don't know his full vision yet, but he sees potential in this new galaxy, to a potential that will end the Jedi and Sith cycle, the loop, the never-ending loop-de-loop. So okay, that's an intriguing idea. Maybe it's Knights of Ren, maybe it's not, maybe it's something completely different. Who's to say? But that was just one of my thoughts. I'm like, I wonder. Not that the Knights of Ren were any better, because they're still Dark Force users and not very nice people. So I don't know. Next up, we see the Chimaera. We hear a sound as Sabine is looking out the window of her little jail cell, and it's the Chimaera, or what's left of it, like docking over top, like in the cargo bay or the launch bay, is kind of the ship is slowly lowering itself over the tower of the Night Sisters area, the Night Sisters castle, and the Chimaera looks like it has been through hell and back. Like chunks of the ship are missing. Looks like some of it is just being like held together by looks like it's just being held together by duct tape in some areas. But the ship has clearly been through hell. I'm surprised it's still floating. It's still able to maintain any kind of flight capabilities or hovering capabilities. But yeah, it's there, and it's it's almost a wreck. And you do see the you do see the Chimaera symbol that's underneath the, what is it? No, it's not the aft section. What is it? I forget. The dorsal? No, dorsal's the top. Oh, I forget. Forward, aft, dorsal, underbelly. I'm going to say underbelly. The underbelly of the ship. We see the Chimaera symbol there. And, it's an impress. I love seeing those old Imperial Star Destroyers. They're really cool. And even a busted up one, a broken, beaten down, torn up one. Like, whatever. I mean, Thrawn's been gone for, like, what? At this point, let's say it's been 5 years since Jedi. And let's say, when did he lose to Ezra in Rebels? 3 years before A New Hope? So 8 years. He's only been gone for, well, only 8 years can be a long time if you're stranded somewhere. He's been gone for 8 years. So the Chimaera has clearly been through a lot. And as it turns out, so has his crew and stormtroopers. Because that entrance was so cool. You see all the stormtroopers. Let me think. Hold on. Where is it? Yeah, all these stormtroopers. They're bandaged up. They're not just like the copy paste armor plating that you see in regular Imperial stormtroopers. These guys are bandaged. They have they've customized their armor. Thrawn, maybe even under these circumstances, has allowed all of his troops to kind of be a little bit more expressive in their personality, because they just, they're more battle hardened, and it almost came off as if Thrawn is part of a cult. Like, those stormtroopers were Thrawn as he's just walking down a corridor of troops. So that I really dug that entrance, and here we have enter the first live action appearance of Grand Admiral Thrawn. I have to say, he looks like Elon Musk. What do you want me to say? He looks like Elon Musk. A blue version of Elon. I can't not see that. But aside from that, I liked him. I liked Thrawn's demeanor. I liked his personality. I mean, it's very similar to how we saw him in Rebels. This is, as you see, we're going backwards a little bit here. As in Thrawn has he appeared in Rebels. So my only thing is, I mean, obviously Thrawn here has a narrower head than live action. Well, yeah. I mean, definitely. I mean, it's a cartoon. It's more exaggerated. But no, I can see he has a kind of a narrow head too. But I do like the widow's peak. I do like the fact that Thrawn has a kind of a widow's peak here, where live action Thrawn, well, maybe being exiled for 8 years, stresses the guy out. So he's lost a little bit up top. But I mean, personally, I thought this was a good personification of Thrawn, the live action one. I think it's the same voice actor. I think the guy who played him in I wish I had his name, but the guy who played him in the show, in the episode, I think is the same guy who voiced him. If not, he sounded a hell of a lot like him. But Thrawn, Thrawn's been a fan favorite for a very, very long time. As I have said probably a few times already, I mean, Heir to the Empire is the true Episode 7 as far as I'm concerned. And this right there would be Grand Admiral Thrawn's first real depiction right there. And, so far, this episode, Thrawn has lived up to my expectations of what I would expect him to act and behave like. I was kind of surprised that I was surprised that he honored the agreement that Baylan Skoll made to Sabine, that he was going to let her go to find Ezra, off with you. I was like, oh wow, he's doing that. I guess his confidence is that he's going home is allowing him to be benevolent, or at least so we thought. And of course, naturally, he has plans to double cross her, find Ezra. But I did like Sabine Wren. That name does sound familiar. So nice little reunion between Sabine and Thrawn. Brief, but you know, let's see, the wolf, or Sabine's wolf mount. That was kind of cool. Nice little local Peridean wolf creature. It was kind of a cool looking thing. I did like it. It almost reminded me, and again, I wish I had a picture of it. I wish I brought something with me, but it almost reminded me of. Is Sabine the next picture? Sabine is the next picture. Okay, cool. It almost reminded me of, I wish I had a picture of it from the Ewok adventure. There was a big wolf-like creature in the Ewok adventure. It was a spin-off of Return of the Jedi, like an Ewok-centric movie from the 80s. It's fun. It's a little kid-friendly. Maybe it hasn't aged well. I don't remember. I haven't seen it in a long time, but it kind of reminded me of this wolf creature, but smaller, or at least it wasn't gargantuan sized. It was just big enough. It was horse sized. This wolf creature from the Ewok adventure was like elephant sized or something like that. But it did kind of remind me of that a little bit. That was the vibe I was getting. But at least we see a few of the local animals on this planet, and she gets jumped by a few marauders. The wolf runs away, and Sabine is a little pissed off at the wolf for running away instead of helping her. Again, she has to. Sabine was definitely wearing plot armor in this episode because these marauders are shooting her, and they're all shooting her in her I was doing that. All shooting her in her Beskar Mandalorian armor, so it's all the blaster bolts are just kind of not hurting her, even though she's not wearing a helmet, and a simple headshot probably would have done the trick. But Sabine was wearing plot armor this episode, and then she breaks out the lightsaber and finishes him off with it. Life goes on. That was the action part of the episode. Didn't last very long. It's fine. So Baylan Skoll and Shin. Shin are out on a hunt looking for Sabine and Ezra because they're just going to finish them both off. But I also have written here, steampunk grasshopper hermit crab. Yeah, steampunk grasshopper hermit crab. That's the only way I can describe these little guys that we saw, these new aliens. They were kind of cool, and they looked exactly like I described right here. Because the wolf mount was sniffing it out and wanted to eat it, but Sabine basically told it off and told it not to do that. And these little guys are cool. They recognized her rebel shoulder pad. Why am I doing that? Right there. Her rebel shoulder pad. You notice that? So that told Sabine she was on the right track for finding Ezra because, who else in this galaxy would have that emblem on them? So that was cool. That was fun. Those new little alien guys are kind of neat. Can't wait for the Black Series figure of them to come out. No, I really can't. I'm probably not going to buy those. But I'm sure someone is going to make a plushie of them or something. There's a new Baby Yoda, I'm sure. So Baylan Shin hunt for Ezra and Sabine. Now this is interesting. So Shin gets a little bit more. Shin is definitely asking a lot of questions in this episode. She's kind of questioning her master's motives and intentions. She's like, do you miss the Jedi? And he's like, I like how he paused. He just thinks about it for a minute. It's like, I miss the idea of it. And I guess and he's talking about history. In hindsight, he now understands that the Jedi were also falling into darkness and corruption of the Republic and under the influence of Sidious, And so he understands, like, that the Jedi made some terrible mistakes that did contribute to their own downfall. So he's definitely not a Sith, but he's definitely not a Jedi. He is, well, as he said to Shin, he is training her to be something more. And then again, that also kind of told me, I wonder if this is a Knights of Ren thing, because we know nothing about the Knights of Ren. Not that Disney had a plan for any of this stuff, but we know nothing about the Knights of Ren. And I'm just kind of wondering if Baylan Skoll is, if that's his goal, if that is going to be the end game. And I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to be too happy about that. I don't think. I don't know. My mind can be changed, but I don't know how I feel about it. I'm just, the thought's up in here, and I'm curious to see if that's the direction it's going to go, or if he has completely other plans that nobody has thought of yet. And then we have, Hermit Crab Village. So Sabine is taken to the Hermit Crab Village. She looks around, and it's kind of a cool, it looks like a bunch of mobile homes. I saw a little TV antenna on top of one of them. They're obviously, at an industrial age, because even the little grasshopper guy had like this kind of steampunk kind of, 1800s clothing kind of a thing, outfit going on under that shell. And I'm not going to lie, I thought, hold on, do I have a picture of Ezra? Oh, there's Shin. Okay, Ezra. There we go. And I'm not going to lie, the search for Ezra, Sabine and Ezra's reunion, which I don't have a picture of, unfortunately. I'm not a huge, I don't know. It was too casual. They haven't seen each other in 8 years. They've been separated by, a galaxy apart from each other. And I just wasn't digging their reunion. I thought it was a little just too toned down. I would, if I was stranded for 8 years and saw the first human, and especially if, I'm pretty sure, I'm 99.9% sure that Sabine was kind of Ezra's love interest. I would be more than just, a few quippy comments and a hug. It was just like I'd be ecstatic and over the moon. So I don't know. I don't know if I like the way that was handled. I think that should have been the high point of the episode, like emotionally. That's my thought. It should have been the high point of the episode. That's all I got about that. So we go back to Thrawn, and they're stocking up, they're loading up the Chimaera with supplies because apparently everybody is as anxious to leave this planet and get back to the Star Wars galaxy. Thrawn's ready to go. Sorry, I apologize. Thrawn is ready to go. The Night Sisters, the Grandmothers are ready to go. This galaxy must not be a very fun place if everyone's just anxious to leave. And the Grandmothers talk to Thrawn and says, that a Jedi rides with the travelers, meaning the Purgle. So they know Ahsoka's coming, and he's like, oh, how come no one clued me in that this might happen? So you can tell he's a little bit disappointed in Morgan for her short-sightedness. Is like, well, Baylan told me that she was dead. It's like, well, the Jedi are expendable. Your mercenaries are expendable. We can leave without them and just leave their asses here. But if Ahsoka's on her way, I need to know everything about her now. Like, who is she? How old is she? Who was her master? Which I'm sure he'll be very interested in that answer. And so Thrawn is he's a control freak. He needs to be in charge. I mean, he's an admiral. I guess most admirals are control freaks. But his way of fighting someone is he needs to know this person inside and out. He needs to know their art, their culture. He needs to know how to fight. And definitely once he finds out who who Ahsoka's master was, he's probably going to have some ideas on how he can mess with her head. I guess it all depends on how well she handles that, because I know we all know Thrawn is probably going to bring up Anakin and Vader, and to try to get under her skin. And now that she's had that closure with Anakin, I don't really know how that's going to work out. So yeah, that's mostly it. What is the next picture? Oh, Admiral Paleon. Okay, well we'll talk about him in a second. But yeah, I did like the episode. I did like it. As I said, I did like Thrawn. His first live action appearance was pretty much just like he was in Rebels, which is how I've always kind of imagined him in the novels. So Thrawn worked. I did kind of like how his stormtroopers were more personalized, more expressive, maybe even more cult-like in a way. I would have liked to have seen more of that. I would have liked to have seen how Thrawn has changed the Imperial culture on board the Chimaera. I'm hoping we see that in episode 7 because it's only 8 episodes. There's only 2 episodes left. There's 2 episodes left. For Ezra, where's Ezra? There he is. For Ezra, for his first live action, we didn't see much of Ezra. I know his character from the Rebel series. This is adult Ezra. He seemed to be a little bit more toned down. He's had to be a survivor. Now there were some theories that Ezra might be more dark side now that he's been gone for 8 years and living on his own, and maybe some people thought, oh, maybe he's aligned with Thrawn. Maybe they're working together, finding a common goal. Who knows? It looks like that's not the case. It looks like Ezra is still pretty firm on the light side of the Force, at least for right now. I mean, again, 2 episodes left. We really don't know yet, but so far it looks like he's still the same Ezra, just a little bit more mellowed, a little bit more controlled, less blue hair. And, like I said, I wasn't too fond of the reunion. I probably would have done a little bit differently. Captain Peridea, I would have liked to have seen Captain Peridea. Well, actually, no, was Captain Peridea on the Chimaera when it left? I don't. I mean, there's a hologram of him right there. I don't think he is communicating from another galaxy. So I'm guessing Captain Peridea was not on board the Chimaera when it went off. So far, that is the only on-screen appearance of Captain Peridea we have, and that's it. That's all I got from there. Again, so far when it comes to Ahsoka, I am still on board with this show. I am liking it. I'm finding fewer and fewer complaints. I mean, what was my big complaint at first? The show was too slow. It was kind of boring me the first couple of episodes. That was it. And I thought Ahsoka's acting or her character was too flat. And we have an explanation for that because it was her guilt, regarding Anakin. So those have been my 2 biggest complaints. And I know I've said this before. I will say this again. I am not a fan of the Disney trilogy. And I understand that all roads ultimately lead to the Disney trilogy. But maybe Ahsoka is some form of course correction going on. Maybe that's why they might move everything to another galaxy. And maybe focused on that. I don't know. I don't know where they're planning on going with this. Considering the fact that Thrawn is not in the Disney trilogy, he's either already defeated or maybe he helps the rise of the First Order. Maybe he organizes the First Order in that, get to the power that they get to by the Disney trilogy. I don't know. I do hope, and mind you, I don't. This is just season 1. If this show takes off, this show is good. There might be a season 2. So I'm trying to think in the long term of other seasons, and also, will we see more of Anakin? What else is Anakin doing in the within the World Between Worlds? Maybe I should be asking these questions after I see all 8 episodes. Maybe I should have some kind of a post-season theory, theory stream or something. But I have more questions. I do want to see more of, I hope we see more of Thrawn. I hope we see more of the Rebels crew. I hope we see more of the World Between Worlds. I hope that's utilized in, in more ways than just Ahsoka training. But we'll see. Still 2 episodes left. Anything can still happen. Again, as I said, I'm still on board. I'm still liking Ahsoka, in spite of the fact that all roads lead to the Disney trilogy. But, some things you can't control. Anyway, I'm done. If you have any thoughts, please, like I said, this will be uploaded on my YouTube channel. If you have any thoughts, please leave a comment. Tell me if you liked the episode. Did you like Thrawn? Did you think his character matched up with how you imagined, or how he was with the Rebels series? What do you think of Baylan Skoll's plans for the future, whatever they might be? What do you think they could be? Well, that's it. I think I'm out. Thanks for listening to me, if anyone even is. I'm JimClassic. You have been watching Geekin, and I will see you next time. There we go. Have a good night, everybody.